August with Beyond Happily Ever After. So tonight we are doing the same thing with my guest, and I'm also here with my pen to learn from his years of experience in the marital journey. Get It Right is all about us avoiding the mistakes that others have, those who have gone ahead of us, have experienced. How can we avoid those mistakes? By listening to those who are in marriage and counseling industry, by listening to those who has been married before us, so that we won't make mistake. How are they able to weather the storm? Tonight is going to be very interesting. Thank you, Yemi. Welcome. So without wasting much of our time, let me just bring Daddy Olugbodi on board. Because I know that our 1 hour, it's usually not enough. I'm trying to add in. Welcome, Mommy Omotayo. Good to see you. Good evening, sir. Good to see you, sir.
Hello, Detayo. Nice to see you too.
And I must say, you really encouraged me. You motivated me. Despite the happenings in your family, you told me to go on tonight. God bless you. God will comfort you and the rest of the family. Because
Amen.
this idea has been ready from the beginning of August, but I couldn't share. Like, I need to get your approval. For me, I'm doing tonight's show alone. I can't even talk about this show with Daddy Olugbodi again. That is how much outspoken I was. But when I got your message, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You taught me another lesson. Like, life goes on. Romoke has impacted. She has touched lives. She lived well. It's heavy, but you encourage me. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Detayo. Thank you very much.
Mommy Megbope, good to see you, ma. Kunle Yade, Temitope, good to see each and every one of you. I'm sure Mommy Megbope will be surprised that I know her. Yes, I know you very much in Fountain of Life. Grace Front. I don't miss that no leftover momo anytime I come to Thursday show. Daddy, tonight is your flow.
Okay.
Prince Nigerian, good to see you. When I read your book on, I'm trying to remember the topic.
Through It All.
Through It All. When I read it, I was like, where was this book when I was going through it all? Because I felt like I was the only one going through it. No one to talk to, no one to open up to. Because I don't want a situation whereby people would now be rubbing it on me later on. But going through that book, I felt like this is it. That if I've read this book, I would have, added more wisdom to navigating the journey. So it's a fantastic one. And you were so practical in through it all. And tonight is just all about you. It's just all about you. Daddy, let's hear from you. How did you meet Mommy? What happened? Is it a pizza and ice cream thing like I always dream? I like vacation. I like fun. Was it like hard living?
All right. Thank you, Detayo. And thank you very much for inviting me over tonight. I don't take this for granted. And yes, so despite everything that happened, I just feel life still needs to be impacted. And so even if it's only one life we're going to be able to touch tonight, I think we would have done well than not showing up at all. So thank you very much for that. So how did I meet my wife? I've shared the story over and over and over again. All
I
right.
want to hear you.
You want to hear? All right. We met when we were in the university. The genesis of it, yes, I'm born again. And so the fellowship I attended on the campus, that's of Afemi Awolowo University, um, I attended ECU, Evangelical Christian Union. And at the point I was in the follow-up school of that fellowship, that's where we sort of do some trainings for young converts or new members of the fellowship. So one of those days, one of the sisters that we were co-teachers in the follow-up school just told me that, oh, there's a sister that he wants me to assist her in ministering Holy Ghost baptism too. And all right, no problem. I minister to a lot of people, so it's not a problem to me. So of course I gave her my consent. Yes, great effect. So the night that we were going to have the administration happened in Sports Center of Obafemi Awolowo University in one evening. Most times when I minister the Ghost baptism to people, I hardly even remember them again because it happens on the field in the evening where other people are praying and fellowship is going on. So most times I don't remember their faces. I don't even remember them again. But this young lady, after I ministered Holy Ghost baptism to her, she just wanted to be close to me. She wanted me to more or less, like we say now, mentor her. And so that was how we became friends. And like I normally joke, I was a spiritual father, and she was my spiritual daughter. And I had other spiritual children, so she wasn't the only one. So she was just one of them. But along the line, I discovered that she stood out of everybody that was close to me. I discovered that there was something about her that I just can't place my hands on. And then with time, I discovered that I started having this affection towards her. So of course we were spiritual father and daughter, and of course we are friends. So I wasn't like the holier than
Holy
thou
Spirit.
spiritual father. We were
Holy Spirit
friends.
spoke to you.
You know, there was no spirit that spoke to me
You were,
then.
you were, you were friends before
We were
taking it to the next level.
Yeah, so of course, taking it to the next level, after I started getting so much convinced that, yeah, I think this is the direction I want to go. Since we were friends, so my proposal was, yeah, spiritual lovers. Thank you, Sister Mabel. All right, so it was gradual proposal for me. I mean, proposing to her was not just like that. I was already preparing her mind. That was one of those days we were together. Of course, we talk everything and anything, from spiritual to family to academics to life. One of those days, since we were friends, I just told her to give me a piece of paper and a biro. I was in her room and I wrote, I've been thinking, I've been praying, I've been wishing, I've been hoping, I've been desiring, and then I put dash, 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 dash. And then I think I handed her the paper, or she said, so what am I writing? And then she read what I was writing, said, so what have I been wishing and hoping and praying? I said, not tonight. So eventually, she knew I had affection for her. She knew it was the way I felt for her was not like the way I felt for other sisters in the fellowship. But of course, we fixed a time for us that that was I think my final week on the campus. She was the one that even brought it up again and said, this thing that you are wishing and hoping and praying and everything, when are you going to conclude it? And so we fixed a time. And so I started my proposal from where I stopped that writing. I've been wishing, I've been hoping, I've been praying, I've been desiring that you'll be my wife. So that was how I proposed. Of course, she didn't, contrary to how I thought she was going to take it. She really never liked it because she so much was into the spiritual father-daughter thing. And you know the way sisters talk.
Definitely, she didn't see it coming.
She actually saw it because, you know, you sisters, they've been telling her that this you and your broke, hey, this man will end up marrying you, you know. And she has been telling that, no, broke is not like those brothers. He's not, he's just our whatever is purely spiritual. So when spiritual father now proposed to spiritual daughter, you know, it was somehow. So of course I got a no. So when I got the no, of course I was shocked because I thought we were so close to the point that, I mean, I don't even need
automatic
to.
yes.
It should be an automatic yes, you know. But I got a no, and in all things we do, like the Bible says in Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart, with all your might. And say, lean not upon unto your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Of course, when she said, no, I had to go to God, and I said, God, of course, I have discussed with God about her before then, you know. You know, like when people talk about receiving from God, I think I received and then I went to God. I was sure of what I wanted, and I went to God and said, God, this is your daughter. You know, so when she said no, I had to go back to God. I said, sir, I thought I had that thing with you that gave me the go ahead to go and propose, you know. And God said, yeah, it actually was him. I said, but she said no. And God said, for you to be sure that it's going to be her, 3 things are going to happen to you. You know, he said, they're going to post you to Ogun State, and you're going to serve in Abeokuta, and you're going to work in Abeokuta after your service, and you're going to get married to her in Abeokuta. Of course, Abeokuta was home to my sister then. The family was based in Abeokuta. We were based in Oshogbo. So I never was, my head was thinking, so what will take me to Abeokuta? How would I ever see her again and everything? God said, you're going to be posted to Ogun State. You're going to serve in Abeokuta, work there, and get married to her there. You know, so to see how that is going to play out. So when it was time for us to, of course, the call-up letter came, I was posted to Cross River State. And, you know, so I was sort of, okay, God, you said Ogun State, this is Cross River State. You know, so I got home and I told my parents, I said, they posted me to Cross River and Calabar, here I come. And my father said, no, you're not going to Calabar, you're not going to Cross River, you know. Of course, I forgot to mention that I have this disability. I have polio on my left leg from H2, you know. So my father said, no, they should have known that you have this disability. You're not supposed to post you outside where you are going to find assistance and everything. So to cut the long story short, my father took me to NYC, and of course they apologized. They said they never got any whatever from me, that I was disabled, so to say. And so they were supposed to now see how to post me to Osun State. And they checked their record and they said, wow, Osun State was filled up. Sorry, they can't post me to Osun State. The only place they can post me to is Ogun State. And interestingly, my father has been saying, no. When they mentioned Ogun State, he said, that's Abeokuta. That's fine. We have family members in Abeokuta. Of course, my mother is from Abeokuta. So that was how I was posted to Ogun State.
The will
And
of
then
God started coming
I
alive.
found myself in Abeokuta. And you know, when that happened, I said, wow, this God is faithful. So I represented my proposal since what God said was going to happen, the first one had happened. So I represented my proposal. Of course, we're still very close, very good friends, still very close spiritual father and daughter.
Daughter
So
relationship.
yeah, so I proposed, and then she still said no the second time. Then after my NYC, before I concluded my NYC with National Population Commission, I was retained by the commission. So the second prophecy was fulfilled. Say, all right. So it's time to represent. So I represented my proposal again the third time. And I still got a no, you know. I think that is that what? No, it's not about alcohol. It's about you know, that's one thing many people should understand. In going to a relationship, in going to things that will lead to marriage, you need to count the cost. It's not a friendship of 6 months. We are not talking of, oh, let's do this for 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. We are talking about till death do us part. So it's a matter of what you need to count the cost properly from the onset. If your heart is saying yes, but your head is saying no, don't say yet. And if your head is saying no and your heart is saying yet, no matter what, once there is not an alignment between your head and your heart, please don't take any action. You understand? So, I mean, that's for singles. Don't just say, so I, even though now I understand that better, but then I didn't want to understand. I was going on the fact that, Sister Tony, we are close now. So what's all these, you know? Of course, to cut the long story short, she was counting the cost. Of course, part of the serious cost to count was that this year we were friends, no doubt about that. We were close, no doubt about that. We knew a lot of things about ourselves, no doubt about that. But this man has disability. This decision, yes, I know on the long run it's mine, but my family would ask questions. My siblings will ask questions. My friends will ask questions. How do I convince myself that this is the man I want? Like I always say, maybe of all like the 4 billion human beings or men on the surface of the earth, why should it be this one-legged man that I'm taking? So it was going to be a very tough decision for her, you know. But of course, I think by the time I went the third time, then of course she said, if I keep coming back, it may affect our spiritual father's daughter relationship and other things and our friendship, which number one, I've cherished so much. And so when she said that, she said she doesn't want that to be affected. So I respected privacy and whatever. So I said, I'm not coming back again. So I went ahead and prayed, and I felt, okay, let me go in search of some other sisters. I think I proposed to 3 other sisters, and I still got those, you know. But I think the fourth year, 1992, I left university in 1988. So I think the fourth year, it just got so strong on my heart that it just have to be this sister, you know. And so the fourth year, I was going to be reproposing again after a break of a year and a half. So I wasn't bold enough to go confront her, so I had to write. And maybe because some of us have the grace to write, so I decided to make it to write my final proposal to her, and just like some 6 pages, full scalp. Of course, by that time, of course, maturity has set in on both sides, and everybody now knows that it's not my will, but the will of God to be done. And so the more she too was praying about her marital life, God was telling her, Kola is coming back. So she was already, she knew that she can't, God seemed to have settled this matter, that is this guy. And so since God had been preparing her heart, and now it surfaced again, February 1992, with my 6-page proposal. And then after I've sent the proposal forward, then I now showed my face physically. And I said, so what's my verdict this time around? And she said she still don't, that was, I think, February or so, that she still didn't have any response for me. And I said, response for now or forever? And she said, for now. For the first time, I got something different from the past. For now. I said, fine. And so she said she's going to go pray. And she's going to see me in 2 weeks' time or so, if I can remember. Whatever God tells her, then she's going to do. So April 1992, she came and she said, if it were other times, I would have still said no. But this time I'm saying yes.
Wow.
So I got yes. And 2 years after, we got married in Abeokuta. So the 3 things God said came to fulfillment. And so we've been married for 26 years now.
Ooh.
And the Lord has remained faithful to us.
Wonderful. We look forward to celebrating your Golden Jubilee anniversary by the grace of God.
Golden is 50, if I get it right.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
sir.
All right.
Yeah, 25 has gone. Yeah, okay. 25 has gone, because I would have liked to come and eat 3-course meal, but that 50, we don't carry over for that one.
Oh, don't worry, just organize it. We'll still come. There's no, we can eat 3-course meal anytime.
Okay, sir, I want to know, how did your happily ever after, how did it get into the stormy stage? Because okay. I'm beginning to wonder if the stormy stage is avoidable, or is it a phase that all marriages must go through?
One thing about life that we all should understand, life is all about ups and downs. Jesus Christ was saying that a wise man built his house upon the rock. The foolish one built his own upon the sand. And he said, when the storm came, he did not say if the storm came. And Isaiah chapter something, I can't remember, says, when you pass through the fire. He did not say if you pass through the fire. So in life, you almost cannot evade it. Not even in marriage alone, almost in every circumstances of life. The storm will come, fire will come, water will want to wash you away. Like God says, if you build your house upon the rock, it will stand. If it's on the sand. So, of course, our own first challenge in marriage came so soon. And that was when we were expecting our children to start coming. And of course, when we got married, we had an agreement that we were not going to make the children come not until after 6 months, because we wanted to take 6 months. Yes, we've known ourselves for some years before then, but now this is marriage. It's a new ball game entirely. This is the first time we are both living together, not like the Broke and Sister Tifad, one that in Boza and another one in Fajui Hall. Now we are living in the same room, the same house, sleeping on the same bed. So we needed like 6 months to really get to know ourselves afresh inside marriage, not the one that you come and you visit, you know. So after 6 months, when we said, yes, it's time for us to have our children, our babies, and we're expecting them to come first, 7th month, 8th month, 9th month, and nothing was happening. Then we suspected that maybe there must be a problem. And then we both went to the hospital. They ran tests on her. My wife was okay. They ran tests on me, and they discovered that there was this problem. I had oligospermia. They said low sperm count, and they said
Okay.
it's not a big deal. They just needed to treat it and boost the whatever, and then so they gave me the medications, and the man was taking the medications and running the test again. The more the medication, the more the count was dropping until it dropped to like 5,000. And then the doctor told me, it's Olugbodi, with these results, you won't be able to impregnate a woman in any woman in your life. And I say, never. He said, sorry, never. There's nothing we can do. And of course, we thought it was actually, it kept dropping till we get to zero sperm count, which was, you know, so the storm came. But despite that storm, um, one thing, the Bible says that two are better than one because they have good reward um, for their labor. And when trouble comes, one will be able to support the other. So the two of us, when those things were happening, of course, we agreed with ourselves, regardless of what medicine is saying, what is God saying? God says, "None shall be barren." Say, not even among your livestock. So we just held on to God and believed that regardless of this situation that looks hopeless, God will show up. Of course, we didn't show up the first year or second year. It took 7 years for us to have our first son, our first child, who was a son, or who is still a son. You know, and of course we thought, now thank God, Oluwatishina, you know, like Yorubas we say. And we thought the second child was going to come just maybe a year or 2 years after our son. Then we started counting again, first year, second year, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Then it was the 6th year my wife took in. Then the 7th year we had our daughter. So it took us 14 years to have um, two of them, you know. So the truth is that storm will always come. But are you standing on sand? Are you standing on rock? What do you believe? Who do you believe? How do you believe? You understand? So, so I mean, it's. And one thing I tell people, you see, like I wrote in Through It All, um, most times when stormy situations come, they don't come all of the time to come destroy us. Most times they come, yes, to test us. And after the test, we get promoted, and then testimony comes. You understand? So
Yes.
the way you see it when you're going through the storm matters so much. If you think this is the end, nothing good can happen again, let me go and remarry another man. Oh no, this is not going to work. All right, so you have whatever you say. That if you say that God is trying to build something great for the two of you, and you say no matter what, we're going to trust God, this is not going to be the end of the story. You will have whatever you say or whatever you believe, you know. So we've that was the first major storm we had, and then of course the next one was when my business ran into stormy waters, and we lost everything, and we were neck deep in debt, and we had to move from one big palace to a friend's boys' quarters, and we were paying debts even though we didn't have the money. We were selling properties just to make things happen. But in all those things, like I always say, I pray that everybody will marry their own wives and you will marry
Amen.
your own husband. If you
Amen.
marry somebody because she's pretty, she's beautiful, she's that, and there's no character, there's no strength, the God factor there is almost zero. You're gonna, you're gonna, you're gonna, you're gonna get your result where you need it most. When those things were happening and it was tough to eat, tough to go out, nothing was happening. It was a dead end. You lose friends, we're losing life. And then, of course, it was still in the midst of that we have not had our children then. So no child, no work, um, neck deep in debt, hard cape. Police today, court tomorrow. At the point I told my wife, I said, my dear, if you go back home at this point, sincerely speaking, I'm not going to fault you. I will say you've really tried. You've really, really, really tried. And then, my wife just said, you are talking as if marriage is just when it is rosy. I didn't marry you because of the good times. We are married because of whether good or tough times. So even as bad as it is now, we are in this together and we are going to weather it together. If not for my wife, maybe I would not have survived it. She gave me courage. She gave me hope. And the difference between men and women started showing up, more especially in that crisis. Men, most of the times, we are very rash. When trouble comes, men just want to do a lot of trial and error. But women are not like that. I discovered that a woman of God has a way of, they can just discern the right things, the next thing to do. Not as if they can just place their hand, but they just seem to know the move not to make and the likely ones to make. But I was so rash. I just wanted to do everything to get out of the debt. I just wanted to run into any other business that can bail me out. But anytime I discuss it with my wife, she will say, no, not this. At times I will say, no, don't you want me to progress? Don't you want me to whatever? But, now I thank her for insisting that I don't take some rash steps or make some wrong decisions that will put us in much more deeper trouble than we were then. So it's now, it was then that one could appreciate when God says it's not good for a man to be alone, especially men. We always think we are smart or we are sharp. Like Yorubas, we say, Yorubas say, Alagbara mamiru. Do you know that proverb? Baba Ole. That means, yes, you have strength, we are strong, but we lack some of those things upstairs. So if you have strength, but you lack knowledge, is equal to zero. In fact, you are worse a lazy man. Because everything, Baba Ole. So it's not by power, it's not by might. That's the spiritual interpretation. It's not by power, it's not by might. It's by my spirit, says the Lord. It's not of him that wills, it's not of him that runneth. It's only of God that shows mercy. So thank God for men that marry women that can always tap into God to receive those mercies. You understand? She stood by me through the storm. And when the Lord was going to turn again the captivity of Zion, she was still there. And whatever God is doing now, it still gives me joy. You understand?
Yes, sir.
I want to imagine that she turned back in the middle of all those crises, and then God now came and turned the situation around. What would have happened? You understand? So it calls for people to say that marriage goes beyond all the things, all the good things that we see. You understand? It goes beyond all those things. Challenges will come. Things will not just work the way you want them to happen. Whether it's tough times don't last, like somebody wrote. The tough people will always overcome tough times. So maybe some people that are watching us tonight, maybe they are going through real tough times in their marriages. Let me tell you, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. We had 2 children, even when medicine said I have 0 sperm count. Not even 1, not even 2. It was 5,000 when they said you're not going to have a child. Not to talk of when it's now 0. And despite that, God still did it. So if it is children that is making you to feel, oh, I married a useless man. Oh, this woman is mad. This whatever. One thing that will not help you is when the 2 of you start biting and tearing and pulling yourselves. You're not a team. Can 2 work together except there is a correlation and agreement between them? If the 2 of you don't bring yourselves together, that thing is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You understand? So whatever happened for us having, the first child and second child, it wasn't medicine, because the first son we had, we were doing everything, going to hospital, and God said, stop it. No hospital again, no medication again. Just wait on me. And we waited on God. And we had the son. And in the case of our daughter, we just, went off and said, no medication again. But God came and God started telling me, take zinc. And I didn't even know what zinc was all about. But each time I pray about a child, God will say zinc. Until I went to a chemist to find out. So what, there was no serious Google those times. So I had to go to a chemist to find out and say, so what's the work of zinc in the body? And I discovered that it actually regenerates spermatozoa. So I now understood what God was saying, that, oh, all right, so the first time he didn't want us to take medication. Now he's recommending medication. And that was just it. So instead of you pulling and tearing yourself apart, please hold yourself as a team. As a team. Don't let those storms make you to begin to question why you came together. The truth is that, like I tell people, when crises happen in marriages, what you should always do is ask yourselves, what brought us together? Why did we decide to go into this together? Why did I, without anybody forcing me, say I do to this lady? Why did she say I do to me also? You should always go back to the beginning. That's what the Bible calls your first love. You understand? God says, even if your relationship with me is falling apart, what you need to do is go back to the first love you had for me. So once you keep going back to that first love, ask yourself why I went into this, and you will discover that you didn't make a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. And so go through it as a team. Go through it as partners. Go through it as friends. Tell yourselves, if we are going to swim together, we're going to sink together. If we perish, let's perish in this together. That is true marriage. That is true marriage. Let me I hope I'm not talking too much, Detayo.
Daddy, you can see that I'm not talking.
That's why I'm asking. If it's as if I've done it.
I'm absorbing.
Let me, maybe there's some people out there, you're going through maybe the real problem I remembered when we were trusting God for those children. Matthew 18:19 says, whatever two of you shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. Whatever two of you shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. And the Bible also says, a man that joins himself to a harlot, when he is having intercourse with that harlot, he is one with that harlot. Yeah. So what that means is that when a man and a woman, when they come together in intercourse, they are actually one. I'm teaching you one principle that worked for us those days when we were in trouble. When we have prayed and prayed and prayed, then we go to the point of two becoming one to pray together. So when we are having intercourse, that's when we switch to heaven and say, God, now that we are one, this is what we desire of you. And you say, when two of us shall ask anything from you, you will do it. If we bind on earth, you will bind in heaven. If you lose on earth, you will lose in heaven. When you use that power of unity, it worked for us every time. Every time. And it's of course, we learned that principle from somebody else, and it worked for us also. But if you are tearing and pulling yourself and cursing yourself and calling yourself's name, you can never be one. You can never be one. You can never be one. And you see, people think divorce is an option. Divorce is never the correct option. It's never. It only compounds the problem. It only compounds the problem. Because at the end of the day, the person that you got married to at first, you married based on trust. So when you're marrying the second one, something keeps telling you, so can you trust this one? So the Bible says, if you fail in the days of adversities, your strength is small. Another version says there is not much to you, even in the first instance. So if adversity makes you to run away, whether as a man or a woman, you just make yourself a useless person. And you keep running. Because I promise, adversity will always come.
Keep coming.
It will come, so you will need to keep running. So why don't you face this storm? So that when another one comes, you will say, God, I help me to kill this lion. I help me to kill this bear. We help me to kill this Goliath. But once you run from the lion, you will run from the bear, you will run from Goliath, and you will keep running from every problem that confront you. So face it. Face it. All right.
It's I don't know. It's really deep. And I'm feeling like, I don't know why this our 1 hour thing, Sha. I've got some question before today, which is about storming situation. I've asked one, which is it possible not to go through it? I've asked that one. And this one is about money matters with in-law. The person asked if it's ideal for them as a couple to allow in-law to manage their business in Nigeria.
Okay, bringing in-laws or bringing relatives to your business. All right. So I will ask it this way. Is it okay to bring somebody that you are not related to into your business? That's what we do. So if you can do it with somebody that is almost like a total stranger to us, why not a relative? Whether it's an in-law or your own blood. You understand? So the recommendation of the Bible, whether in marriage or in business, is that two are better than one. You understand? So if the second part or partner is going to be even an in-law, so be it. If it's going to be your blood, so be it. If it's going to be a total stranger, that a friend or something, so be it. You understand? But the most
Yeah.
important thing in any relationship, whether marriage or business, it's all about making sure that our values, they tally. There's an alignment in our values, in the things we both like. Do we think the same way? Do you consider things the way I consider it? The rule of thumb is that can two work together except they be agreed?
Mhm.
If there is no alignment, if there is no agreement, whether it's your in-law or your blood or a third party, it's not going to work. So the real thing is the value. Do we have an alignment in everything? Like for instance, the business I run, I do it with my younger brother, and that gives me mighty peace of mind. You understand? It could have been
Yes,
my
sir.
in, it could have been my in-law, it could have been any other person, and our values match. And so that's what matters. So it
That's
doesn't
what
matter
matters.
that it's in-law or outlaw or ex-law.
Right. Okay. Another question is giving parents money and giving siblings money.
Yeah.
From the question, I'm seeing someone that is under pressure because it's
Okay.
like several questions all together in one. And I actually told the person to join us tonight so that she can listen to another perspective.
Okay.
Giving parents money and giving siblings money. They are based abroad.
All right. You see, one thing about life, whether you're married or single, you still have responsibility to your family members.
Mm.
You understand? The Bible says that he that cannot provide for his own household,
Household.
another one says for his own relatives. You understand? So you should be responsible to your family members. Bible says honor your father and your mother. It didn't say when you get married that should stop.
Mm.
It should
Mm.
run through the course of the totality of your life. You understand? So you don't stop it. You don't stop it. You just need to be responsible. In fact, two should make it happen more for the family members. Let them feel you. Let them feel you. You know why families are always afraid of their sibling marrying somebody else, because they feel it's going to yank him completely away from us. No, it's not supposed to be.
Mm.
You as a wife, you understand, you should encourage even your husband, now that you are married and that we have joined forces together to get, I mean, as a couple, they should do more on both sides.
Mm.
You understand? What happens
Yes.
is that once you start saying your own family, my own family, then you are not yet united.
Mm. Mm.
Something that, I mean, husband and wife should always pray for is that God, let the miracle of unity happen in this our marriage.
Amen.
Man will leave father and mother, cleave to his wife,
Mhm.
and the two of them will become one
Mhm.
flesh. One. So if you become one, then it's no more your own family, my own family. We have only one family. Our extended family is just one.
Mm.
My mother, I have a mother in Oshobo. I have another mother in Abeokuta. They are both my mothers. You will hardly catch me call my wife's mother my mother-in-law. She's my mother. You understand? And my
Very
wife's
well.
siblings are my siblings. I sit down with them and we plan together the way I will sit down with my own blood and plan with them. There's no unity. I mean, there's no division,
Divinity.
there's no them and us. It is all of us.
Yes.
You understand? So that's that's
Mhm.
that's the way I want you to. Don't say your own brothers are asking too much and my own are not asking too
Mm.
much. The way we do it, the way myself and my wife does it is that who has the need? It is not a matter of, it is not democracy. What you do for A, you do for B. No. Who
Yes.
needs most? If A is the one that is still needing most, we do for A. And if tomorrow is B that needs most, then we do for B. And if A and B needs at the same time, we do for A, we do for B. So don't say, we have done for you last month and let's do for this one. No.
Mm. Mm.
And once you put that principle in place, then you know that it's not about one for you, one for me. It's just doing what is right. So I hope I'm able to help that person. Please, there's no
Well,
competition.
very well. And I'm sure that if the person is not clear, she will get back. And daddy
Mm.
will be willing to help her out.
I will gladly do.
Um, Money matters, sibling money, what again? How do we handle in-laws in the storm? How do we handle in-laws in the storm? I actually don't understand what she meant by that.
Sorry, let me have that again.
How do we handle in-laws in the storm?
You know one thing about what matters most is what do you the storm as man and wife. What do you believe? Others can believe anything, others can say anything, but you must have a common front. You must speak as one. And it comes with understanding. It comes with the two of you saying, this is how we are going to do this about this matter. Come what may. You understand? Of course, naturally, um, in-laws will be partisan, so to say, and say, why is this one? Why is that? It's natural. It is us that must know what we want to do. So at the end of the day, you don't have any grievance with anybody.
Okay.
But if and that's where maturity comes in. If you're going to get married, marriage is for matured people, not for boys and girls. You understand? And we just know
Yes,
that
yes.
there's going to be a lot, and even the in-laws also, they are actually, any suggestion they make, whether good or bad, they're only trying to also help.
Mm,
You
mm.
understand? So once you see it from that angle, then it's not going to really have any
You
negative
won't take it
impact on
personal.
you. So you don't take it personal.
Hmm. Okay. Advice for singles and married. Advice for our audience. Advice for those that are going to be watching this video
Okay.
after this time.
For singles and married, I discovered that people have wrong conception about marriage. Um, Singles, whether you are engaged or not, they feel, we want to marry so that we can become husband and wife. And they think it's another world or something else should be happening, or we should have metamorphosed. This is what I will advise you. Marriage is just an advanced stage of friendship.
Mm.
Before you get married, whosoever you're going to get involved with, you must be friends from the point of courtship. If you're not friends in courtship, you're not going to be friends in marriage. You understand? You just must be
Mhm.
friends. So marriage is just upgrading your friendship, taking it to another dimension. So when we keep seeing ourselves as intimate, cordial friends, even from courtship, and we carry it into marriage, things will work. And we just need to ask ourselves, so what does it make to be friends? We have the same values, we love the same things. You understand? I love
Mhm.
talking to you. You love listening to me. Yes, we quarrel, and then but there's something in us that makes us to quickly quench that fire that wants to pull us apart. So friendship, 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 friendship. That is what
So
marriage
singles
is
and
all about.
marriage, friendship.
You
Friendship
understand?
should be the foundation. Friendship should be,
It should
well,
be
the
the
moment we
foundation.
see marriage as we are upgrading our friendship, we'll get to understand ourselves better.
And you can go for the next 50, 60 years together
Mhm.
and you'll never be tired of yourselves.
Okay. Daddy, I hope you are seeing that question. I'm
Sorry.
curious to know that if you had found out at the hospital if it was mommy who had medical challenge, would you have given same support?
You know, that's a very tough question. But you see, it's still the same thing. We have told ourselves it's actually not even about even children. We didn't marry ourselves because of children. The day I fell in love with her 4 years before she said yes, I wasn't thinking about children. I was thinking about her. I loved her. You understand? And so it was not going to be about the children. If they came, great. If they didn't, life moves on.
Like, awesome.
You
Fantastic.
understand? Aha.
Very
Of
well.
course,
Very well.
one won't rule out that there will be temptations. That's what we were talking about maybe about in-laws. Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Then that's when your Christian values come in place. Will you deny Christ because we can't have children? You understand? And you see,
Very well, sir.
everything is all about perspective.
Mm.
Marriage does not go beyond this world. And I know that when we get to heaven, there's nothing like marriage. There's
So
nothing
we need to
like
enjoy it. We need to
these
enjoy
are
it
not
on earth.
aha. So I can't carry my children to heaven and say, this is the first one, this is the second one. No,
Mm.
everybody is standing as singles, individuals when we get to heaven. So once you get the right perspective to all these things, there are many things will matter to you in this world. And then, of
Mm.
course, the truth is that I know my God. I've never asked him for anything before, and he will
And
turn
if
me
you
down.
would, the
So
cargo.
that was not even going to be an option.
Awesome. Awesome. Wonderful time, Daddy, because I can keep on and on. That is how it usually happen on Get It Right. We don't have enough of our guests. 1 hour is not enough. And we look forward to when we can compress 5 hours to become 1 hour so that, the pudding will be very, very more interesting. So many questions are coming in because we don't have time.
Maybe
What's your
we should have
name?
another session for the questions
Definitely,
alone.
Daddy, you're going to come back again. Definitely. I can no send. DM me, send email to getitlightlife@gmail.com. All your mails will be forwarded to Daddy, and you will have his feedback because time is not on our side. Daddy has shared so much word of wisdom tonight, and I'm taking a lot, home, supportive wife, being team, even while making love, make sure you are praying together because at that moment you are one. Daddy, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you, especially at such a time like this. God will
Thank you
be with
very
you, sir.
much, Tayo.
Your home will continue to stand. You continue
Amen.
to mentor us. Ẹ máa pẹ́ fún wa dalẹ́ in Jesus' mighty name. On
Thank you.
this note, I would like to say, don't beat yourself up. Just get